Hey everyone, in this video we're going to do another Q&A. Let's dig right in. Okay, so the first question comes from Tyler Kelson, #TheResistance. Why do you think the foreign parks lean into IP more than the domestic parks, specifically with Pirates of the Caribbean? Walt Disney World took out their mermaid skeleton, Disneyland took out Davy Jones' projection, while Disneyland Paris added Barbossa skeletal animatronic, and Shanghai is 100% film-based. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for that question. I think the reason for this is purely marketing. And it's similar to what Disney does with the films. You know, we get an American trailer and we get the international trailer. And I think it's done because different markets, they want to market differently to different areas of the world. Same thing with the parks. In America, the first memory most people have of Pirates of the Caribbean are from the attractions. You know, it's been around for such a long time here in America that your brain automatically goes towards the attractions, especially, you know, like if you're from Southern California, like I am, I mean, that's my first memory, the ride. The movies came way, way later. You know, even Florida, the ride's been out for, you know, decades. So that's not the same, you know, thing, the same circumstance overseas. A lot of these places, they don't have that same exposure with this franchise. Their first exposure to pirates, you know, were probably the movies. You know, especially in a place like China, like Shanghai or like Hong Kong, the movies were their first, you know, the first time they've experienced that world. So I think that's what it is. I think that Disney is just marketing more towards, you know, what people are familiar with, nostalgia, what works, what doesn't in certain areas. And that's what it is. It's just that overseas, they're more exposed, or they were more exposed to the movies first. And over here in America, we were exposed to the attractions first. So I think that's what's going on over there. But thank you, Tyler, for the question. I really, really do appreciate it. And the next question comes from Joshua Kuo. And Joshua is asking, in your opinion, do you think that Disneyland is earthquake ready / safe? Thank you so much for this question, Joshua. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think Disneyland is earthquake ready, earthquake safe. I do. I mean, much of Disneyland Resort is brand new. California Adventure is not that old. You know, opened in 2001, and they pretty much bulldozed that whole park and rebuilt it in 2012. So California Adventure, not worried about it at all. Like the Grand Cali, same thing. Downtown Disney, it's all pretty new. The stuff that worries me the most are the older elements within Disneyland. So the castle, which I mentioned in another video, has it ever gotten earthquake retrofitting? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know, but it's an older structure. It's been repainted a bunch of times, but have they ever done major construction on it to retrofit it? I don't think they have. The monorail beams, this is a big one. I know for a fact they've never touched those monorail beams and retrofitted those. I mean, as far as I can remember, I don't remember any kind of construction going on with those beams. It's been a long time if it ever happened. Another thing is the Matterhorn. That's another older structure. So stuff like that worries me. It does. It scares me that if we have a sizable quake, are those structures safe? I hope so. I hope so. It would be devastating to lose a structure like the castle. You know, that it's the icon of the park. You know, it's the original structure that opened with the park. It would be extremely depressing to lose that. So I trust Disney. I'm sure it's safe, but it does cross my mind. It does cross my mind to think like, wow, you know, I really hope that they've taken steps to ensure that these structures stay with us for many more generations to come. But thank you so much, Joshua. I do appreciate the question. And the next question comes from Asian Heel LA. And he's asking, did you see the Disney animated film Coco? What do you think about a dark ride based on Coco? It seems like a potentially fantastic experience. Well, thank you for the question. I do appreciate it. And yes, I have seen Coco. And yes, I absolutely love Coco. It's a phenomenal movie. extremely touching, very emotional, you know, fantastic storytelling. But in terms of it, you know, becoming a dark ride, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, they should make a Coco dark ride. Absolutely. It has all the elements of a fantastic dark ride. You know, visually, the colors, how gorgeous the movie looks, that would translate beautifully in a dark ride. And the music is another thing. The music, I mean, it would be incredible. I would love that. Absolutely love that. And now with Pixar Pier, we have a spot to put it. You know, I mean, California Adventure, even before Pixar Pier, could have supported a Coco dark ride. You know, Hispanic culture is an extremely huge part of Southern California, and it definitely would have fit in the park. But now with Pixar Pier, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, they should definitely put a Coco dark ride there on the pier. You know, I don't know where, I don't know where, but they need to do it. I think it would be fantastic. Be a perfect fit. It's a gorgeous movie. Absolutely gorgeous. It deserves one. So yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Coco dark ride, put it in DCA as soon as possible. Thank you for the question. And the next question comes from Josh Darth Woodbury. And Josh is asking, what is your dream Star Wars spinoff? And who would you cast and get to direct? Wow. Okay, Josh, thank you for the question. Well, my ideal Star Wars spinoff would be something kind of similar to like Harry Potter. Okay, I would want to see like a group of kids in like a Jedi Academy. And it's a series of films, maybe 4 or 5 movies, and you watch these kids grow up with each movie, similar to Harry Potter, and you see what they have to go through in learning the Force and becoming a Jedi. You know, I think that would be an extremely interesting Star Wars, you know, standalone series of films. I think it would be really, really cool. It's something that Star Wars has really never touched upon before. You know, following a group of kids, like a coming of age kind of story. I think that would be really, really interesting. Due to the nature of the story being about, you know, like a Jedi Academy, the timeline, it would probably have to be done in that prequel era at the height of the Jedi. But that would be my ideal. It would be something very different. I think it would appeal to young people and bring them into Star Wars. And it's unique enough that I just think it would be super interesting. You know, and don't copy, like when I mention Harry Potter, I'm not saying like, you know, do verbatim Harry Potter, just swap it out with Star Wars. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just giving you an idea, like a gist of like what I'm trying to say, in that it should be like something similar to that, you know, a coming of age story with a bunch of kids that you follow through each film. And you know, centered around maybe like a Jedi Academy or something. I think it would be super, super cool. That would be my ideal. Who would direct it? You know, right now, there's 2 options that I would want. There's 2 people that I would love to see direct those films. Number 1 would be Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler, if you're not familiar with him, he directed Black Panther, and he also did Creed. He's a phenomenal director, and he's my first choice. I would want him to do it. But if Ryan wasn't available, then I would want Steven Spielberg, the master Steven Spielberg. I'd want him to do it because I think he would be a great fit for that too. But yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, that's what I would go with. Something different. You know, I hate all these like, you know, Boba Fett movie, Kenobi movie. Yeah, I mean, they're interesting, they're okay, but let's try something really, really different. And I think that would be really, really cool. But thank you so much for the question. I do appreciate it. And the next question, excuse me, comes from Ryan Hines. Ryan is asking, I have a question for a Q&A. My favorite thing about Pixar Pier is that it's a home for all the Pixar stories, in my opinion. What do you like about Pixar Pier? Thanks. I hope you pick my question for the next Q&A. Well, thank you, Ryan. I do appreciate your question. And yeah, I agree with you. That's one of the things I really like about Pixar Pier as well, is that it gives the opportunity now for California Adventure to put these Pixar films in that park that otherwise wouldn't have had a spot. Like for example, now this is just an example, but let's just say Good Dinosaur was a huge hit. Okay, I know it didn't do well, but let's just say it did. That movie before Pixar Pier wouldn't have had a spot. There would theme-wise wouldn't have made sense at California Adventure. Now with Pixar Pier, they could essentially put a Good Dinosaur dark ride there. It would fit. We have a land now dedicated to Pixar. So the Pixar films that once didn't have a spot really anywhere in either park, now they do. So a film like WALL-E, which would have never seen the light of day at California Adventure, now has potential to be there. Good Dinosaur, same thing. Brave, same thing. So that's what I love about Pixar Pier. Now when Pixar releases these fantastic movies, California Adventure has a spot for all of those stories. And we have the potential for attractions based on any Pixar movie they release. And I think that's exciting. I really do like that aspect of Pixar Pier as well. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, and overall, and I've said it before, I'm not gonna get too into it again, but I'm very happy with Pixar Pier. It looks great. They're doing a wonderful job on it. It looks way better than I expected it to be. Thank you for your question, Ryan. I do appreciate it. And the next question comes from Jason. And Jason is asking, do you think Disney will reroute the parade route into Marvel Land so that they don't have to worry about height restrictions to their floats because of trolley wires? Jason, this is a really good question. And do I think they will? It's a good possibility. It's a really, really good possibility. And it would make a lot of sense. Now, I've said this before. I'm going to repeat it again. Disney should never remove the trolley wires on Buena Vista Street for parades. Okay? I do not agree with removing permanent theme elements for temporary parades. Okay? Those wires, and I know a lot of people think, oh, it's silly, they're just wires, who cares? I care. I do care. Every little theme element, every detail makes a difference in the experience. And it sets Buena Vista Street apart from Main Street, right? It makes it feel more urban, more city-like. I love those wires. So if Disney can reroute that parade route through Marvel Land, so we don't have to ever worry about parade float, height and the wires, I support that like 1000%. And I hope they do that. Do I think they're gonna? I really don't know. But I can see them doing that though. I think it's definitely within the realm of possibility, because I do think there is a desire on Disney's part to make these parades at California Adventure a little easier and not have to worry about the height. So I can definitely see them making Marvel Land part of that parade route, and I think it would be a great idea. Thank you so much, Jason, for the question. I do appreciate it. So that concludes this Q&A. And if you guys, I'm gonna do another Q&A very, very soon. Go ahead, submit your questions in the comments below. I love to hear from you guys. You can also submit your questions on Twitter at OrangeGrow55. I pick from the YouTube comments and the Twitter. So either one is where I pick from. But thank you guys for everyone for submitting your questions. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe. I do content on Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, all of it, all the time. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and have a magical day.